Hey, this is Dave with Taboo Customs. Today in this video, we're going to be replacing the upper rear coil buckets on this 98 Jeep TJ behind me. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with, and then we'll take a look at the kit. All right, well, we're in the Midwest, and we've got, of course, a Midwest Jeep. You can see it's already had some previous repairs. We didn't do those, so it's got some repairs that we have worked on, including the body mounts, and we'll get to that. And it's still got some repairs we need because this frame is somewhat Swiss cheese. So along with that goes these upper coil mounts, actually, and the lower coil mounts too. We'll talk about those in a minute. Upper coil mounts, and you can see here, it's barely held on. I mean, this just collects stuff up here. It doesn't go anywhere. So the salt and the mud up here just rusts it to nothing. So obviously we're here. We're going to be replacing those. We actually use the Dorman kit to do these, and we'll put a link in the description. We have those for sale on our website. So please go there and purchase a set if you're looking for a set. And you know, let's go ahead and, oh, I did mention these lowers, and we have lowers too. It'll be a different video, but you can see what has happened to this lower here where the coil is not going to stay real centered, so we'll be replacing that as well. That's a separate video, but we will put a link to that video and a link to those in the description. But first, let's take a look at the kit that we have that we'll be installing today. All right, so this is the kit that we've got, and you know, pretty simple as far as its structure and installation. It is a little bit better because it does close off that area that we talked about that is typically open on OEM Jeeps that just collects stuff, but unfortunately you're still gonna have stuff get down in between this coil bucket and the frame bracket, but a little bit better. So pretty simple install. We will remove this partially because if you saw in our Jeep, we've got a small puck lift on there, so we're gonna have to make some room and get that puck lift back on there, but you can install it with this cup on here and with it out. It doesn't really matter. The installation on this is pretty easy. Now, one thing that we do run into is we will say that this width here is pretty wide as far as the frame, and we typically end up with a little bit of extra space, and we'll cover that whenever we get to the point of installation. But I will give you a hint right now. We always flush up the inside and then clamp the outside. The reason for that is that it's difficult to get to the inside, and you want to make that probably a little bit easier, and it's a little bit easier to clamp the outside. You can see it a little bit better. So we'll cover that when we get to the installation of it. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about the prep. Okay, as far as the prep, obviously some disassembly. Fuel tank is out. All of our fuel lines and brake lines and everything have been pulled and loosened and pulled over to the transfer case. Now, the other big thing, unfortunately, is this bracket sits up inside the frame on the inside here, in between the tub and the frame. So to really get to be able to weld this up here on the inside, you're gonna have to raise the tub. Now, could you potentially just weld the bottom and the outside and as much as you can get to on the inside? Well, I'll leave that up to you. We're not doing that, but you know, obviously compared to this, that would be much better, but we're gonna do it and install and weld the whole thing up as is our recommendation. But to do that, you may, of course, because you've got a rusty Jeep, just like ours, run into some other issues. Because to raise this tub up, you've got to take all these bolts out, and chances are your body mounts are not in good shape. As far as the tub side, and this one's not even in good shape here on the frame side. We've got to replace a couple of those here coming up. But we have kits to repair these. You can see we've already gone in, and we actually didn't have to repair the front, which is odd on these Jeeps, but the fronts were actually okay, but the second and third was just terrible. So we used our combined second and third body mount repair kit. We do have individual ones as well that are really for just really localized damage. But if you have quite a bit of damage, the second and third body mount repair kit is the one you want. And we will put that in the link in the description as well. The other one that always, pretty much I don't know if a kit actually to rebuild that whole box. Typically what we find is that we just break off this. We've got a kit that basically replaces the nut on the inside. So we'll put a link to that video as well, because apparently there are gonna be a ton of links in the description in this video. So now what we've got to do, that we've got everything prepped, we can start removing this here. Before we do, one thing you may want to do, you've got some options here, because this here is at the OEM location. And if we want the OEM location, we might come in here, measure this angle, measure basically how far back it is, get some measurements, and then we will put the new one in the exact same location. However, if you have a Jeep that has a pretty good lift on it, 3.5 inches and up, maybe, you may want to do some correction and actually pull this thing a little more straight up and down so the spring is not at such a crazy angle here. A lot of people do that. There is actually some companies that sell a correction kit, but if you're in here doing this, you can do this here at the same time and you don't need that correction kit. So what we'll do now, go in, remove this, we'll take off all of this bracket, we'll do it on the inside, on the outside. With this, with the needle scaler, a lot of this will just fall off. Honestly, it won't take much to pull the bracket off either. Yeah, actually probably just fall off now that yeah, a little bit on there, a little bit stuck. But anyway, we'll get that off and we'll bring you back and take a look at that and talk a little bit more about placement and welding. Okay, well, we've got all of our old bracket cleaned off. Actually fit the Dorman bracket up on the frame. If you're trying to figure out which one is for which side, the shorter section goes towards the front. There's also a tab, oh, if I can get to it, right there. That'll point towards the inside. So we fitted up. Now with these brackets, some of them we found fit up loose, some of them we found fit up tight. This one is actually pretty tight, so there isn't a gap on the inside of that side, which is good. I do know on the other side we did have a gap, so what we typically will do is we will clamp this so that this gap is forced to the outside. Really the reason for that is because it's a lot easier to deal with on the outside than it is on the inside, because if we get under in here, and you may not be able to see real clearly as I think we're looking at the bottom of the tub, aren't we? Jesus, terrible camera work. All right, you can see right there, we don't have a ton of room. We've got the body up about 2.5 inches, which is, you know, you start going up higher than that, you're gonna start, especially on the driver's side, perhaps having issues with the brake lines and stuff because you're putting stress on them. But anyway, we have got enough in here, so we're gonna go in and mark out the perimeter now and just make sure we've got all the rust and everything off of the frame where we are going to weld. We will also go into this and take this piece, clean up this edge here, clean up a little bit on the face right at the edge too, just so we don't have any of that, whatever that green paint there is getting into the weld. Then underneath this on the frame, we're also going to put self-etching weld-through primer. We'll paint the frame here because we want to put something under it to get a good coating, because that's, you know, a big reason why this stuff rusts out, because water gets between there and there's nothing to keep it really from rusting. Now, even with that, we will go in here and still clean up that edge right where we're going to weld, trying not to take too much of it off, but we don't want to have any issues welding, so that's the reason we're going to do that. So we'll go ahead, we'll pull this off, and we will get it prepped and get ready to weld it. All right, so we've got it all prepped. We're about to get ready to start welding. We did grind, like I said, we ground a little bit of this. We've got weld-through primer underneath it. Going to go in, weld this solid. We're welding it with a 220 MIG welder with 035 wire, using Lincoln wire, Lincoln MIG welder. Definitely want to weld it with something. I would recommend at least a 220. Could you get away with 110? Maybe. It is under compression, so it's not like it's going to really go anywhere, but we typically always weld with a 220 unless we're doing body work. So anyway, we'll get this welded up, bring you back, show you. Honestly, pretty simple welding as long as you can lift the body up and get to the inside. Not too bad. All right, well, there we go, all finished with the welding. In all, the installation of the piece is probably the easiest part. The hardest part is just getting everything off to get it done, especially if you got to deal with the body mounts. I did forget to mention that on the passenger side, you're probably going to want to end up pulling the exhaust as well, which is a whole nother ball of wax. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. As I mentioned, be sure to check the description for a lot of links to a lot of different things that we used in this video or you may need when you're doing this project. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at dave@taboocustoms.com, contact us on our website, or leave a comment here. All right, thank you for watching. As always, a like or subscribe is greatly appreciated.